Hello everyone, Lady Shatana here again with another video about my style Cavern in the Minecolonies mod, which I still say is the best mod to ever hit Minecraft. Here today to do an updated video on getting started with Cavern, and we're doing this because there's been a lot of changes since the one I did for 1.18, so we're updating for the 1.19 version with the new build tool and some brand new tips and tricks that I have for getting started. So I'm working in my favorite seed, which I like to call the Caldera. To me, it looks like an old volcano with a really nice lake at the bottom. When you take a look at the map, it's just a big, gorgeous, amazing place. So the seed is in the description if you decided you wanted to build here as well. So let's get started. So I've done a bit of prep work here. I've placed the Cavern supply camp, which has a lot of really nice goodies in it, including the smelter, the little auto smelter, which is going to help you get all that stone that you need. You're going to get your Townhall and your build tool out of there, and you're going to go ahead and get your colony started. So I've decided that I'm going to start my colony actually down there and put my Townhall there and work my colony into the mountain that way. So keeping that in mind, where I want to have this area claimed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my Townhall around here somewhere. Doesn't really matter exactly where it goes because you're going to be picking it up and moving it anyway. So make sure that you've got the Cavern pack selected. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the Townhall. Make sure that you can see where the block goes because you are going to have to pick it up, as I said. Go ahead and assign to the builder. Go into it, create your colony, and I like to right away go in and turn off Kids Will Be Born, just so that I have a chance to get things established and set up before I have colonists wandering around complaining that they are hungry. So I do like to do that. So we've got things established. You see, we've got our colony all ready to go. So we're going to have a builder in order to get things going. So I've done a little bit more prep work down here. I know I'm going to put my town hall and the entrance into my colony there. But you need to have a builder to start. Now you have several different options depending on how you're building, where you're building. You can just place a temporary builder and then move them inside later. If you're in an area where maybe you can place a builder and leave them there, you can certainly do that. So depending on where you're building is what route you're going to go. I am actually going to place my first builder out here. I like to kind of think forward as to what I might do with the building when I'm done. So in this case, I think I might use this for maybe an exit out of the caldera or an entrance into a personal area or something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use actually, again, into fundamentals, I'm going to use the alternative builder set. And I'm going to pop it into sort of into the wall here. I think that will look pretty nice actually, and it's something that I will be able to use later on. Maybe like I said, I think it'll look nice there, but if I didn't think it was going to look nice, I would just tear it out later when I didn't need it anymore. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pretend that the builder actually, I let one spawn and I had him come and construct his own place there. So then you've got your builder, and I've got a little path so he can come and actually reach the area that we're going to be building in. So now that we've got a builder, we can actually get going with everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we're going to put our town hall. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into, now that we have that on the go, we're going to go and we're going to pick up our town hall because we want to be able to place it in the new spot. What's really cool is as long as you haven't started building it or anything like that, you can go into the build options and you can actually just pick it up. Your claim area is still safe. Your colony is still there. It's just moved the town hall block into your inventory so that you can move it. So after we've picked up our town hall block, we're going to come back down here, and we're going to take a look at two things. We're going to take a look at the default town hall, and then we're actually going to build the MegaHall version of the town hall. Overall, they both end up looking exactly the same. We're just going to use the defaults to help us plan the where we're actually going to be building. So we always want to preview things like this at level 5 so that we can see the fullness of the build. And as I said, I've already kind of decided where I'm gonna put this. And when you do this, you can see you're going to be putting it right into the mountain. That's the best way that the town hall works, is when you've actually got it placed into a mountain. So it's going to dig all this part out eventually over time. And when we go inside here, a couple of really important tips on getting started with Cavern is, first of all, when you have an open space like this, it's really good if you dig it out yourself. You are going to be a lot faster than your builder when we get going at the beginning. And by digging it out, you're going to provide yourself the access to the bits that you're going to need to guide your building, as you'll see in a second. One thing that is imperative when you're building in a mountain is making sure that this red highlighted block, which is going to be the hut block, is visible. Because if it's not, and you click OK to build something, that's going to place inside a mountain somewhere, and you're going to have to dig it out and hope that you know where it is. So the big thing is, when you're doing a preview, always dig out to where that hut block is before you click the check mark to build anything. So I like where this is. I like how that's going to look when it's all built. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place myself a marker. I'm going to use oak planks in this case, but it's basically any kind of block that is easily identifiable from the surrounding. So not dirt, not stone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in that spot where the highlighted hut block is. And once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to cancel your preview. So you've got your open space and you've got this indicator of where the town hall hut block needs to be. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to preview, we're going to pull up in the infrastructure MegaHalls town hall entrance. This is a special structure that, or MegaHall structure that I created just to help get everything started a bit faster without having to build the full MegaHall or like town hall, but still give you a nice entrance and a nice start into the colony. So this gives you a lot of guide signs, and one of the ones we're looking for right now is where it says Town Hall MegaHalls goes here. That sign needs to be lined up with the block that you placed for the town hall. So in this case, we just have to move it over the one, and you can see when we look outside, it's going to only build this center part and this little bit at the front. It's not going to dig out or build anything in the rest of this area. That's going to come later when you build the actual full town hall. This is just going to give you a really good start. Another big difference between the default town hall and the MegaHall version is the MegaHall version comes with a builder's hut and a citizen's hut built into it, which the default town hall does not. So that's going to be really important because it gives you a really good head start, and it just makes the area a bit more useful as opposed to just decorative. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to, as what I do in a lot of my videos, is I'm going to pretend that the builder did the job and actually built this whole thing. So here we go. We've got this constructed. And as you can see, it built this center section. Looks really nice, but didn't take a huge amount of time or materials because it didn't touch anything on the outside of the area. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in, and you could deconstruct and move this builder's hut inside, or do a second builder. Now, I quite often when I'm doing Cavern, I've got 3, sometimes maybe 4 builders going, especially near the beginning parts of it, because you've always got a couple of caverns that need to be, dug out, and that always takes time. And then you've got huts that are being built and huts that are being upgraded. So having more builders actually ends up being much better for that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to put in another builder instead of taking that one down. So you can see that you've got the builder's hut goes in here. And when we go in here, if you don't already have it emptied out a little bit, you're going to mine out just a little bit of this area. But it should be opened up because of the building of this part. So you're looking for these guide signs and these guideposts. So the Builder's Hut MegaHall goes here, and it tells you to line up the posts for Builder MegaHall placement. So we're going to have another Builder's Hut block in our inventory, and a really great, once you get to the point with the MegaHalls where you have these guide signs, a big tip is make sure that you right click with your builder's wand on that same block as where the sign is, and you're going to end up where your hut block is going to be already in the exact right place. So I'll show you. So going into fundamentals, and now we're working inside a MegaHall. So we're going to choose the MegaHall version of the builder's hut. You can see the hut block goes into the right spot, but we can see right away already that it's not in the right orientation. All you're ever going to have to do is click these to rotate, as long as you've right clicked on that same block. So what we've got here is you can see the hut block's in the right spot, and you can see that the preview matches up these fences to where the fence posts are. And if you move it just a little bit, you can see there's the preview fence, there's the live fence. So you can see that again on this side where it's not in place, and it is in place now. So when you see that they're nice and lined up, that's when you know you're in the right spot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pretend that I had the builder go ahead and construct it. And you can see it pops in a nice level 1 builder without damaging anything on the outside. And if you could see into the mountain, you would actually see that the builder's hut is now in there. So now that we've done that, you could choose to add a house, because your builder at this point is going to be complaining that he doesn't have anywhere to live. So you're going to start with your first house, and you can see the house MegaHall goes here. House is also called residence. Now we've had several names for it over the years, and again we have these guideposts for lining things up. So you're going to have a citizen's hut in your inventory. Same trick where you're right clicking on the same block as the sign. Fundamentals, MegaHall, residence. And again, right away we can see that our rotation is not quite right. So you'll just try, and that one, it looks like it's probably in the right spot. And yep, we can see that the signposts are lined up with the signposts in the preview. The hut block is in the right space, and you can actually see as well that the door lines up where the door goes. So once you have those things, you know that you're lined up properly. I'm going to pretend that my builder went and constructed that for me, and I've got a nice level 1 citizen's hut all built. And again, it hasn't damaged anything out here because it is designed to all work together. So you have those things, and you've got this Townhall MegaHall sign. Now you can do this in any order, but same thing, that same trick of using the right click on the same block, and fundamentals, MegaHall, and the Townhall. Same thing where you might just need to rotate it once or twice, but we can see that already that it's lined up. All these things are where they should be, and you're using these really as the guides to make sure it's all in the right place. So we're going to go ahead, and this one I'm just going to assign to builder. So I'm not actually going to build it. I'm going to make sure that my settings are, at this point, you'll be able to actually make sure your kids are turned on to get all of your colonists and get things going. But you don't actually have to build the town hall. You can actually get a lot of your colony going before you start building that, because like I said, you've got things started. It still looks pretty nice to start. You've got your first builders, you've got everything on the go. So you can leave that until you have a builder that has a bit of extra time, perhaps. So I would upgrade your builder once or twice, maybe upgrade this, and then you're going to work your way into the mountain. Now there's several different methods you may want to follow for this. You can start with an alternative tavern, perhaps, for this first section, because then you'll have a bit more housing and get those citizens or visitors that you can hire. You can do a connector right away, but one of the things I like to do, and I've changed up what I suggest back and forth over time, but I like to actually put in an intersection right away, and you're going to start with you're always going to start with a stone upper in this particular instance, and you can see here that it is lining up and overlapping on this this one here. Now what you can do is you can always dig it out a little bit more so that you can see more clearly what you're building. I personally, while the builder is working on other things, I like to go in and I actually like to dig out further into the mountain. So I will dig out this, what's this, 5 by 5 space, and I'll just dig straight into the mountain just to give a head start as well as pick up resources. And I just find that to be really, really helpful. So you can see that we're overlapping on this line. You can do it where you're not overlapping, where you're butting up the build with the previous build. Whichever one you do, you have to do that same thing every single time. So either butt it up or overlap it. Just make sure you follow that same process. So I'm going to put in an intersection. I'm going to pretend that my builder built it. And there you go. You've got your start into the world of Cavern, and I've done other videos to give you some ideas on where to go from here. So that is how you get started with moving into a mountain and starting your colony. There's lots of ways you can do it. You don't have to follow what my suggestions are, but this is my favorite way to do it because I think it's the most efficient and gets you sort of the most bang for your buck with the spacing and not wasting too much time doing things you don't need to. So I know this has been a really long one, but I hope it's helpful, and I hope you are having a fabulous day, and we will see you again very soon. Bye!